Hey, so I am honestly, I think I'm going to see now. I was waffling away for about a few minutes and then I realized my microphone was way over there. Got it now. I'm going to clip it in. Okay, so I've just had to start the video again. I was basically saying that early, I think it's either early this year or late last year, I picked up The Undertaker, Volume 1. I think it was like earlier this year, which I raved about. It's one of the best westerns I've read in a long time. Gave me that sense of excitement I got from reading Blueberry by Mobius back in the late 80s, early 90s. Well, last week, the second volume came out, of The Undertaker. This one comprises of two stories, The Ogre of Camp Sutter and Shadow of Hippocrates. That's the cover. Wonderful, wonderful cover. It says on the back, the real danger in hunting a monster is becoming one yourself. Yet after yet another dust-up, Jonas Crow just wants a bit of peace and quiet, but the paint is barely dry on his fixed-up hearse when an old colonel reveals that the so-called ogre of Camp Sutter, a ruthless surgeon, long thought dead, is still on the loose. That's all it takes for Jonas's troubled past to re-emerge, sending him on a high-stakes hunt for the man he let slip during the war. But when Rose falls into the doctor's clutches, things go from bad to worse. How can Jonas stop a man who uses his patients as human shields? So again, it's a really nice hard card cover. It's not got a dust cover, and I'm pleased. I like. This is my preference. I like it when it's just um, cover on board like this. That's the frontispiece and the back piece. I've not read it yet. I will be doing a review of it to see if it's as good as the first one. But this just gives you a look at it because I do highly recommend this series. It's one of the most fun comics you can read. So that's the indicia. As you can see, it's written by Javier Dorison, illustrated by Ralph Mayer, colours by Caroline Delaby and Ralph Mayer, based on an original idea by Ralph Mayer and Javier Dorison. It came out in France originally in 2017 as two different separate volumes. So in France, they do them as about this size, but in I think it's like 48 to 54 page graphic European albums. That's the nice little illustration before the start of the first story. So it looks like they've got the same team. So if you remember from my review last time, do check that video out and do buy the book. It's fantastic. The Undertaker, who is an Undertaker in the loosest terms, obviously he's using it as like an alias. Um, he basically ended up, the last story of the first volume ended up with him riding off with the young girl, well, young woman, and the older woman as well, and they're still together in this next one. So they're still traveling on to a new area. And again, the use of colours in this is just magnificent. The artwork is second to none. Very much does have a blueberry version feel to it. I know it's weird, but European artists do better westerns than American ones. I know there's Jonah Hex and that lot, but they don't. They've always got to. The American ones always tend to have. They've got to either lean into a gimmick like make it a bit supernatural, or they've got some kind of like Jonah Hex's face is badly scarred, or they've got something that like makes them stand out. But the European ones, they just do it as pure, old-fashioned westerns like the films you used to see made in the 50s and 60s and 70s. So that looks like this is the big bad. This must be the ogre. This guy here. You can tell he's bad because he's forcing whiskey down a baby to make it drink, to make it sleep. And some sinister goings on there on an operating table. I just want to highlight some of the panel movements on the pages are just amazing, and the scenery, how he does it as well. And again here, there's a chase through the canyons and the woods. 2 pages. And then it moves on to the second story. And look at that illustration, just fantastic. So the second one is Shadow of Hippocrates, or Hippocrates. I always had a thing for westerns when they had like steamboats, and there's one in here. I always used to love seeing steamboats. He really does water superbly, this artist. Nice little bit of action of being thrown off a horse. And again, how he just builds up the tension in just a few panels. Just look at this page here. There's just a rhythm and a beat to it, what you don't get in a lot of American comics. It feels much more cinematic, and the dialogue's not wasted, but they do let the pictures carry a lot of the story, which is what you want with a comic. You know, there's not over explanations with the dialogue. The dialogue is just there for people speaking. That's good. I was wondering about that. But he had a sidekick in the first 2 books of this vulture that he kind of adopted, and the vulture's still there. His pet vulture. Still, it's not got its neckerchief on anymore, so that's a bit upsetting. Ooh, I won't show you that page because it's a bit of a spoiler. I'm a bit sad that I've seen it now. So, finishes on this page. I'm just gonna cover that up. Wonderful, wonderful expanse. But what's good about this as well, it does have some extras, so it's got some original artwork. I love anything like this. Some nice, interesting back matter, showing you how he does layouts. And then there you go. That's it. Finishes with that. I think, if I remember rightly, no, I thought it was like a bio, but there's not. I must have read it online. But yeah, as gorgeous as the first one. You don't need to read the first one, but I think this just this sets up the stage for further adventures. So I do recommend trying with that one, but they look really nice together as well. Very uniform. Volumes 1 and 2. Really sturdy. It's $25.99 in America, $32.99 in Canada, and £18.99 in the UK, which I think is a very reasonable price. Well over 100 pages. There's a 3rd volume coming out in January, so I'll obviously be buying that when it comes out, as soon as it comes out. I am looking at another Abrams book, which is kind of like tangentially similar. But it's an adaptation of a classic bit of Western literature, The Red Badge of Courage. So I hope to get that next time I get paid. So do look out for that. If I do get it, I will do an overview of it. But yeah, highly recommend picking these up. They're gorgeous, gorgeous books. And like I said, I will do a review once I've read it. So hope you enjoyed that. I was going to do a third video today, but I think that's gone a bit overkill. So I'm just going to stop it there, because let me know in the comments, because my, as you've mostly seen from a lot of my videos, I've had a lot of hauls. So I've also sold quite a bit on eBay. So my bookcases have changed. I've got more bookcases now. So if you want me to do, because it's been 6 months, so try and do them every 6 months. If you want me to do like an in-depth bookcase tour, because like I said, it's increased my graphic novel collection. I'm not going to bother showing my comics. Everybody's got comics. But if you want to look at if you want me to do a bookcase tour, because I've had quite a few grails as well this past 6 months, I can do that next week, and I'll do that as like my main video. So leave it in the comments if you want to do a bookcase tour, and I know that you've watched this video through to the end. Okay, bye.